Columbo. Let me do this horror show intro, and then let's talk some Columbo, some Peter
It's our
Falk.
brand.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Was it just me, or did that sound weird, Dave?
That was weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe the streaming internet. But yeah, Dave, you did it to me again. What the hell?
No.
I can't believe it. No, it's another cult. I fooled you guys in the chat and Dave. He's like, oh no, Dino doesn't like it. No, listen, you did it to me again. Damn it. This is another Kolchak thing, man.
Oh, thank God.
I've never watched
I was
Columbo
so worried that I was going to have to,
try to
leave the
deal with
screen.
this. No, Dave, you told me forever to watch Kolchak. I never did. I finally watched it. And I'm like, holy hell. Mainly the movies. The TV series are great too, but Columbo, never watched it. Never. I'm an old school detective guy. So Charlie Chan, Sherlock Holmes, Mr. Modal, all that stuff. So I don't know why I just never watched the 70s Columbo and other shows like that. You know what I mean? But I watched this show, and from the very beginning, I'm like going, damn, something I missed out on. And now I have something to look forward to. I don't know how many seasons there are, but I cannot wait to start watching these, Dave.
Wow, I'm impressed. There's 68 more episodes.
Oh, thank God. Yes. No, this is something I got hooked right away. I literally watched it right before the stream, and I'm like going, it's not the Peter Falk that I thought I was going to see, because I've seen him in The Out-of-Towners, some comedies, I just didn't think it was going to be this guy. I mean, Columbo knows his stuff. I mean, he's on top of the case. I mean, I loved every little bit of it, and it just was not what I expected. And it was in the same vein as Kolchak. I really enjoyed it tremendously. Oh, hello everybody. Welcome to Late Horror Show. I am Dino. I'm so excited. And this is Dave. Yes, on the Late Horror Show, we are talking Columbo. And why not? So there you go. Let's say hi to everybody in the chat, Dave.
All right.
Yeah.
We have Ed Stathis in the chat, and he has chocolate. I remember reading that.
Yes. Got my chocolate too, chocolate covered raisins, dark chocolate, and Dave's got his dark chocolate almonds. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
And we had Connie, of course. We had Harry Scott. We have Headless Sense.
No.
Which is interesting. Welcome.
Yeah.
Southern Coke
Welcome
drinker.
to the channel, Headless Sense.
Yeah. Southern Coke drinker Laura. I'm sorry. It would help if I had my glasses on.
Yeah, Southern Coke drinker Laura.
Thank you.
I like Headless Sense. That's a good name. I like that. Harry Scott. MB Alfred is here. Hello. WTF Horns High Five. Jocko has made it. Hello, everybody. And yes, Laura. Starsky and Hutch was better, says Laura. Huh. Yeah. Well, you know what? I just to be honest, we all have our favorites, but I will tell you, and Columbo's a totally different style of programming than Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah.
Starsky and Hutch is more of a cop show, an adventure show. Columbo's a detective show, a mystery, and he must solve the murder. It's totally different. But yes, who else? Harry Scott. Yes. Did I miss anybody?
I didn't see Ed Stewart. I was all excited to wish him a happy birthday.
Yeah. Edward Stewart, if you are there, happy birthday to you. Maybe you'll jump in eventually here once you know that we've gone live. But Harry Scott, WWM, MOR is here. Hello, Sweet Indigo. Good to see you. One Sean Bond is here. We're bringing them all in. Yeah, Columbo, he's on the case. I'm on the case, see? I wish I could just Just for the show, give myself a lazy eye. Gotta love Columbo.
That was half Johnny Rocco and half Peter Falk.
Yeah, yeah. Johnny Rocco, say. I say that wherever I go. I just turn into Rocky, Johnny Rocco. Anyways, yes, let's talk about this show. Don't forget to give a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, join the channel starting next week, Tuesday, Thursday. 2 streams dedicated to channel members and Patreon members. So there you go. And Friday night movie nights. Yes, that's what I'm doing. It's going to be fun. But Columbo, finally something I know. Chaco says, wow. Overnight tonight, we have Nick Carter, Master Detective, a really good mix. I plucked out some very good shows for you guys tonight. So there you go. Anyways, and updates on my other channel very soon. Terra Walterra. Some of you might not even know what I'm talking about, but I'll let you guys know soon. Okay, Dave, let's get into this. 1971, Columbo, Murder by the Book. You chose a good episode.
Well, thank you. This is
definitely I've never seen any other ones.
Well, this is definitely one of the more iconic episodes. It's probably in the top 10 of everyone's favorite episodes. Okay. It has just such a wonderful cast that we will talk about. It has wonderful locations. Everything is just perfect about it. First air date, September 15th, 1971. I was alive, but I don't remember watching it until I was probably 8 or 9 years old. Okay. It is directed. This is Murder by the Book. Now, if you are not familiar with Columbo first started in the very late 60s with a standalone film, and I'm just talking the Peter Falk Columbo. There's a couple Columbos before him. But Peter Falk played in Prescription Murder, which is a made-for-TV movie. About a year or two later, he comes back and he has another made-for-TV movie, but they know it's going to be a series after that point. And then this is the first of the condensed time period, kind of like Kolchak in a way, condensed time TV series. Columbo also has a very odd number of shows. It is part of the, I think it's the ABC Mystery Wheel. And so it would rotate every week. You'd have McLeod, you'd have McMillan and Wife, and then you'd have a Columbo. So there's only about 8 episodes per season of Columbo. But this one in particular, I chose because Steven Spielberg directed it and also Stephen Bochco wrote it. So 2 heavy hitters. And it is one of my favorite episodes.
Too much like the Pink Panther. Southern Laura, do you mean this episode? I'm a little confused with listen, I love you, Southern Coke drinker. You know that. But I'm a little confused. The Starsky and Hutch threw me off. Too much like Pink Panther. If you're talking about this episode of Columbo, not even close. There was no connection, no same feel, no nothing. Maybe the trench coat at one point, but no, not at all. Horror Junkie for life. Where you been? Good to see you. Nice to see you. Yeah, Dave, I would say this episode, Murder by the Book, is, and I've seen a lot of detective stuff earlier, but this is so well put together. It's so well written. I can see why it's at the top of a lot of people's lists for their favorite, even though I haven't seen any other ones but this. Mm-hmm. But I can tell, you know what I mean? It's almost perfect from beginning to end. You know what I'm saying? I did put some nitpicks in here.
There's some mistakes.
Everything is going to have little things, you know, but no, I meant Columbo himself, the character. Listen, okay, I'll go with it, but it didn't. Peter Sellers, the Pink Panther, and then you got Columbo, Peter Falk. Not even close. What's going on? My mind's about ready to blow, Laura. You're
one's Italian, one's French. Come on, come on, Laura.
Laura, what's going on?
I think Laura's a Jack and Coke drinker today.
Oh man. Okay. Anyways, yeah. I mean, we will get in and we're going to start talking about this episode from beginning to end, kind of like we do the Kolchaks. But I did just have to say, I mean, it is a perfect murder mystery. And you throw in Peter Falk as Columbo, and again, him not being who I thought he would be, because I've seen him only in comedies. It's perfect, Dave. Almost, it really is almost perfect. I love it. I love it. So, I mean, we can get into it if you want.
Let's start.
Frankenstein. What's going on? It's pronounced Frankenstein. What? Anyone? Wait, what did you say? Anyone see Wings of Desire with Columbo playing Columbo?
I have not.
No. Who was the guest star in the episode, Dino? Says Ed Stathis. The guest star, was it?
This is Jack Cassidy.
Okay, yeah.
Father of David Cassidy and Sean Cassidy, and ex-husband of Shirley Jones.
Okay, so Laura, I'm just going to ask you when the last time you watched Columbo. I'm sorry, but it's more than a trench coat, a bumbling detective who solves case. He's not a bumbling detective unless he becomes one in later episodes. Who solves cases somewhat by accident, maybe. And it wasn't somewhat by accident. Columbo knows exactly what's going on. He's three steps ahead of every clue. His intuition kicks in, at least in this episode, Dave.
Yeah, now Columbo will change quite a bit over the course. I mean, they continue Columbo's until 2003 is the very last episode. And during the later made-for-TV movies, he's a little bit more bumbling and not as good as this. But I agree with you that when he's thinking ahead, it is like watching a chess game, moving the pieces, thinking ahead of what's going to happen, how you're going to say certain words and phrases. So...
Okay, so, I will apologize, Laura, because you could be right on the character in other episodes, but in this one particularly, I don't see that at all. And I think because it's kind of the debut series, episode, and, Stephen Bochco, Steven Spielberg, I think they took this serious, and it shows in his acting in this episode. And I got none of that. And I am a Peter Sellers Pink Panther fan. But I know where you're going. And that's what confused me, because I almost thought, Dave, that was the character I was going to see. You know what I mean? Yeah. So maybe I will see it in later episodes, which would be fine. I love that.
Yeah, they will infuse a little bit more comedy too throughout as the series progresses. But this is a little bit more on the serious side compared to everyone. And Ian says it's the ultimate troll for criminals. That's excellent. Sweet Indigo. This is technically the first of the series, but like when you do the streaming services, sometimes they'll say this is the third, just because it is the third time Peter Falk plays Columbo.
Yeah. Because it showed episode 3 on Amazon, I think is where I watched it. So, but hello, Sally Skellington and Ian. Ian, where you been, buddy? Good to see you. Columbo drew you out, huh? Definitely good to see you. Tao Flaudermouse. The suspects are always smug and overconfident and underestimate Columbo. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I can't wait to start talking about this episode with because we've got Peter Falk Columbo. We've got the writer, the writer who's going to die at the beginning, who's the author of the series of books. I'll let Dave explain it a little bit more, but we do got Ken Franklin, who's his partner, who he's the one that we're going to get into. He's going to be the murderer, and this Columbo's going to have to figure out how to trap him, because he's onto him from the very beginning. And we have Joanna Ferris's wife of the main writer. We got Lily La Sanka. She sells coffee down by her store owner. But I'm going to let Dave go into detail on all of that, because what was the woman that is in the story? Melville. But you go ahead, Dave, and then I'll start jumping in. Let's start talking about the movie.
All right. Well, the first thing we have is an excellent camera angle of Sunset Boulevard, and Ken Franklin's car is cruising down, and he makes a turn into this building, which, by the way, is still standing today. and the parking lot looks exactly the same, and the same way you enter even the underground parking. So it is some place where you could go and visit. Goes up to basically the top floor, because the office that Ken Franklin and Jim Ferris rent together is completely gorgeous. It is floor to ceiling windows. It is a beautiful view of the city. And there's a knock at the door, and there's Ken Franklin, Ken Franklin is going to the door, knocks on it, and Jim Ferris is inside. He's the writer, and he gets up.
I just have to say something, because continue on it. He's at the door. I'll let you continue. You know, I interrupt you. I do that with everybody. But again, you introduced me to the Norlis tapes, Kolchak. I have to say, this reminded me this. And so what? That's why I was wondering why you skipped over it, because the intro to this episode, it's the typewriter, Dave. The old-fashioned typewriter. It's just from beginning. It's you hear it going all the way until he gets to the door. And I thought that was really, really cool.
It was very effective.
Yes.
Leaning onto that, I love the music throughout this episode. I think it's perfectly suited. However, one of the things that bugs me about this episode is when you see him typing the words, and this is just because I'm a teacher, he does the close quote and the period after it. It should be reversed if he's doing correct English. You end the period.
Yeah. You're looking at the words.
I'm proofreading what he's typing. And
can I say hi to Kathy real quick? Hello,
welcome, Kathy.
Yeah, big hugs to you. And I have to bring this up real quick too. Mav Fan 1, Columbo was annoying to me. Any episodes where he gets the crap kicked out of him? Can you recommend? Mav Fan, I recognize the name. You've been on the channel before, so I don't listen. It's funny. Okay, go on.
He does get messed up by some mafia thugs early in some later episodes of the 90s, but that's about it.
Oh, jeez. Peter Falk goes into the 90s with these?
Oh, till 2003.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's going to be about
That's got to be different.
Yeah, there's about a 10-year hiatus between the late 70s and the late 80s.
Okay. I bet you, I will just say right now that the 70s, those are the top episods, right? Or am I wrong? When
there's a couple good later ones, but yes, most of the ones from the 70s they're so good. They're so good. And especially, when we look at Jack Cassidy, we're going to see him 3 times throughout the 70s episodes. And each time he's fantastic. He's going to be in Publish or Perish is the next episode we'll see him in. And then he's also a magician in an episode called Now You See Him. And that's probably my favorite of the 3.
Yeah, well, he looks like a magician in his IMDb photo for this
he does.
episode. So
and he's a magician.
It could be that. But yeah, no, listen, his character is very smug, like somebody mentioned earlier, very smug, like, and we're going to get into it, thinking he's going to get away with it. But go ahead, Dave. He's at the door. We're going to set up the premise here, Dave, is with how he thinks he's going to get away with all this. But go ahead. Yeah.
And one thing too, it would be a good idea to hit that thumbs up for the likes, just so we can do another one that way. But for Jack Cassidy, he's coming to the door, knocks on it, and Martin Milner is the other character, and we know him from Adam 12. So he gets up, opens the door, and the first thing that Jack Cassidy does is he puts a gun right in this guy's face. And Martin Milner starts to laugh. And it's like, hey, man, there's no bullets in the chamber. Your finger's not even on the trigger. All these things. And it's Jack Cassidy goes, oh, you're right. I'm just messing with you. And
because they've got, you're probably going to mention it, but yeah, they're getting ready to split their partnership because Jim Ferris wants to write on his own.
Yeah.
Because we come to find out Jim Ferris and Ken Franklin in particular, he never wrote a thing in his life.
Right. So the two basically collaborate very much like Ellery Queen, I guess, collaborated, and they have published 15 books together. And the series is called Mrs. Melville.
Yes.
It's a Jane Marple type of character. It's a little bit older than like, not The Murder, She Wrote, Jessica Fletcher. This one's just much more, much older, much more British looking.
Yeah,
And,
but and you tell by the painting, really, pretty much, because they don't really go into description on it, but you get that feeling that that's what it is. Verisimilitude, hello, welcome to the channel. James Landry, hello. Jimmy D, Duck Dodgers, good to have everybody here, talking Columbo. But yeah, go on, Dave.
That's okay. And so we do find out that they did have a breakup, and that Ken Franklin had been really upset because you're right, he had never written anything. But
Yeah.
this is where I kind of have a problem. I think you do need that, give and take, where you have one person who's very talented in writing, but could never do the promotion for the books. Whereas Ken Franklin had that smooth talking atmosphere. He's very good looking. He's good with the ladies, and he can get the film deals.
Oh, you say? I look back on somebody. Listen, throughout the thing, there was a scene where he was standing on his the deck when Columbo came to the lake house.
Yes,
and he had his jeans up, and he had his little jacket, and I'm like going, man, that is 1971. You could see his white socks. It was high waters. It just looked so. Oh, how can I put it? Nerdy or something. I don't know. But yet back then, he's an older, sophisticated gentleman that, yes, he was getting the women and all that other stuff. He was a womanizer and all that stuff. But yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I found it funny, Dave. But anyways,
it totally was. And it is, you can definitely see how these are dated.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
that's what I love about it. I mean, the eras. I've always talked about this. Going through decades. If you're a cinephile, somebody who loves TV or movies or anything like that, if you don't fall in love with the decades history, then you're not really enjoying these things, these movies and shows to their fullest extent. I loved at the beginning the phone that was on the desk there with you even had the little red button and white button, for hold and stuff. I mean, it was all cool. Even the little TV next to, anyways, I'm sorry, Dave. I can keep going on. I'm just,
well, Ken Franklin is trying to now make amends, but he's really setting this guy up to be murdered.
Oh, yeah.
But he is inviting him down to his lake house in San Diego. And what's great is when they get him back to the car, Ken Franklin's car has a bumper sticker that says, "Have a nice day."
Yeah. Yeah, no, the whole set. Well, and then he goes back up because he leaves his lighter behind.
Yes.
Okay, so Ken Franklin, his partner, he has everything set up. In his mind, he's got the perfect murder to get rid of Jim Ferris. And, he leaves his lighter behind because he's going to go back up to the office. He's going to throw all the papers around. He's going to, what else does he do? He puts a letter in the drawer that's folded. It's got a list of names of gangsters or organized crime people that he's going to try to get Columbo to be thrown off the trail and to keep him busy. There were things that he tried to do, Ken Franklin, to keep him busy, which didn't work because he knew it. But in his mind, he thought these were good. Like he gave him a stack of books. Say, yeah, here, you're gonna all read these. You know what I mean? So he's keeping him busy while the investigation's going on and all that stuff. So he did a lot of cool neat little things that he thought would throw Columbo off the case, but no, Columbo was on him like gum.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But wasn't that fun to just totally trash that office? I mean, he had so much fun. I mean, just taking his hand and running it down the bookshelf so all the books would fall off. I mean, he did everything but light that place on fire.
Yeah. And we'll come to find out later on that letter that he put in the drawer because he knew they would be thorough and look through everything. Underneath bunch of papers in the drawer, and it's just a list of organized crime people's names, and it's folded up 3 times. And Ken says to Columbo that Jim typed it out. These are people that, I guess didn't like him, or I don't know. And he typed it up, and Columbo's going, well, it's odd that it would be folded up like it would be put in your pocket. Why would he do that? And then you could see the hesitation in his voice, Ken, where he's going, oh, he likes to fold it up to make them as bookmarks, And I'm like going, see, if you're a good detective, that little flutter, even at the beginning there where he says something, starts to put doubt in your mind, and you start to blow your cover. So there's cracks from the very beginning. He thinks he's doing the perfect murder, but little cracks in everywhere. So, yeah. But he convinces Ken or Jim to go up to his lake cabin.
Yes.
And I love how he tries to tell him when they are there to call your wife. You've never cheated on your wife?
We're not at the cabin yet. Hold on.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
He's also going to be the first male guest at the cabin, which always cracked me up. But on the way to the cabin, they need to stop for some supplies, and he stops at the general store, and that's where we meet Miss Lysenko.
Lily Lysenko,
yes.
The store owner.
Yes, whose husband has already passed away. Yeah. And she is played by a wonderful actress, Barbara Colby, who we'll talk about later. But as this is going to be her undoing as well, because what happens is Ken comes in, hey, I need change for $1 to go use the payphone. And she's all, here's your change. And as he's using the payphone, what he doesn't see is she looks out the window and sees that he is with his writing partner.
Yes. And doesn't he come into the store and give her that book? He gives her a book.
Yes.
And go ahead.
It's also, that book is an Easter egg for Columbo fans, because the title of the book is Prescription Murder, which is the very first made-for-TV movie of Columbo.
Nice. Okay.
But it's allegedly a Mrs. Melville story.
Yes. Ben subscribed to this channel for a good few years. Nice. It's funny when I just see people for the first time in the chat. So yeah, that's awesome. And Kathy Roberts, it's been a while since I've seen you. Good to see you. Love that everybody's being interactive in the chat too. It's awesome. 59 likes. Yeah, you got to refresh now to get updates on how many thumbs up it. But anyways, yeah, he gives her the book, and this is going to give him away a little later on too, because he writes an inscription to her that's very personal and gives it to her, so there's that. And then he also goes into the back to make the phone call. Yes.
And he good evening as well to Unctre Finest.
Unctre Finest. Yes. Always in the chat at night. Good to see you.
He makes the telephone call to Jim Ferris's wife.
Yes. Joanna.
Saying that, hey, we've patched up our differences and everything is great. And she invites him to dinner, and he says, hey, I just left Jim at the office and I'm headed down to San Diego. And if anything weird happens, make sure to call me.
Yep. And that's going to be kind of his cover up, because he's also going to have a call at his lake house in which Jim, and I know we're not there yet, Dave. Let's get there first. Go ahead. Continue.
That's okay. So he gives her the book, makes the phone call, and then they head to the lake house, which to me is a very scary. And first of all, it's supposed to be in San Diego. Yeah. LA to San Diego is about 2.5 hours, depending on traffic. Obviously, with no one in the parking lot, it was the weekend. So it was probably a little bit quicker drive. However, in real life, this isn't even in San Diego. It's up in the mountains in Big Bear, which is just north of Los Angeles.
Yeah. Trivia question. What is that car that Columbo's driving, Dave? Do you know?
Well, I do, but I don't think you see him maybe a little bit driving a car in this episode, but I think it's like 2 or 3 episodes actually in before he gets his famous Peugeot.
I know I saw him driving the car into the store owner, Lily Lasanka, and I love that he rides over the front bricks and
Oh,
flowers and stuff.
oh yeah.
I'm going, is that the lazy eye, or is he don't care? He's getting in there. That's all. But
Yeah.
okay, good. And Ryan, thank you for not asking any more questions. I appreciate that. I don't even know what you're talking about. But anyways, me Safit, whatever. Me, good to see you. It says Pujo. Okay. Okay. Did you already mention directed this episode? Yes, we've talked about that.
Oh yeah, Steven Spielberg at the age of 24.
Yes, very young. That's what.
So,
anyways,
I think he had done Duel already, and he had done Night Gallery, but earlier than he hasn't done Jaws yet.
Yeah. But yes, so we're on our way to the lake cabin.
Yeah.
And it's funny how he got Jim there. Again, he's trying to cover all his tracks. He don't really want nobody to know that Jim is with him. And Lily Lasanka did see him in the car, but she just said, "Is it a redhead or a blonde this time?" But boy, does she become a character a little bit later on, huh?
Oh, she will. She will.
Oh, she
One
is
of my favorites, and she reminds me of the girl who played Miss DePesto on Moonlighting.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of that large amount of teeth that you see, and the smile and the long hair. So
yeah, but Lily's a little bit more crazy though.
I think a lot more crazy.
A lot more crazy, and I don't even. When she was so attracted to that guy, Ken, and did not even care that he was a womanizer. It just threw me off. I'm like, going, what the hell? I don't get it. But anyways, yeah, let's get to the cabin.
All right. And one thing that is really important on the way to the cabin after they leave the general store is Jim Ferris says, this is like deja vu. It's like I've never been here before, but I feel something weird.
Okay.
When they get to the cabin is already set up for a murder. First of all, it's absolutely beautiful. It is just a stunning place to live, but all the furniture is covered in plastic.
Yes. I'm like going American Psycho.
Oh yeah.
This is all the way, he's got but I have a problem with that, but go ahead.
So he tells Jim to call his wife, say, hey, I'm going to be working late, so you and I can spend more time together. Let's go out on the lake. We'll go fishing. We'll have a few beers, which they've already had champagne, and it's early in the morning. So he goes and makes the phone call, and the first thing he does is he calls the operator. And Ken says,
no. Yeah. Have you never cheated on your wife before? You need to. The operator answers. But anyways, you got to call. The area code's 213. Says
213. Absolutely. Yeah. And so then he calls back his wife, but what you don't see is Ken Franklin starts putting on gloves, gets his gun out.
They show him from the back. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's all the camera angles are just so perfect.
Yeah.
And he just takes out the gun, and as he's talking to his wife, you just hear this boom, and it flashes then to her. But what's great about that scene is when you see her going like Jim, what's wrong? On the wall is a picture of those two together, and Ken Franklin is smiling kind of wickedly in that picture.
Oh, I didn't even recognize that.
Yeah.
I think during that scene, in my mind, I was going straight to detective mode. I was going, okay, he's got the couch covered in plastic, but not totally covered in plastic. If you noticed, there were parts of it, even on the arm, where it was showing a little bit. But then I'm saying, okay, did he shoot him in the head? Because there's still going to be blood splatter
All
If they
right.
really wanted to look, there's going to be blood splatter. Uh, that's just me, Dave. I know. I know. You got to not think about those things.
Well,
But
this is a horror show.
right, right. And I also thought about which comes true a little bit later on. Couldn't they just the phone records show where Jim called from?
Well,
But
that's why. Yes, that's why Ken made that call from the Lily Lasanka store, is
yes,
so that there would be a phone call from them, but they would say, no, it was me calling the wife.
yeah. It was very tricky because I guess during those days, it's not like his voice was recorded. So as long as there was a phone call from there, you can't tell who called, right? So he did kind of cover his, unless I was waiting for him to say there was a call at the exact time of death from this Lily, Lasanka's store, but they didn't really do that. It wasn't necessary. So William Cromer, hello, good to see you. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. And then we split to is it Joanna's home or is it the office? It's the office.
Well, she's at home and she calls Ken because Ken said, call if anything weird happens.
Yes.
And so he goes, yeah, are you sure everything, did you call the police? And then, he just kind of like, it was weird. You've got Martin Milner laid back dead, and Ken just kind of raises his glass to him, and in a salute. And then we go to the office where all the detectives are kind of questioning the wife.
Yes, there you go. And during those scenes, Ken gets in a car and drives up.
Right.
And this is a big deal because Columbo was asking him the whole time, like, well, that sounds like God. Okay, I need to work on my Peter Falk accent. But he's like telling him, okay, so your close friend dies and you couldn't take a quick trip to the airport and get here in half an hour. You have to drive and take hours to get. I don't know. Is that relevant?
I didn't buy that either because it's a 2-hour drive.
Okay.
Why would I go to an airport,
When you
find
could
a plane,
drive a car,
get there, have to rent a car, drive out to wherever they are? 2 hours is nothing compared to, it's not going to save you that much time to fly.
Okay. So yeah, no, okay. I got you. The other thing, my channel is frozen. Oh boy, Kathy Roberts. I'm sorry to hear that. Just turn the heat up. It should work. Let's see. But okay, so when they shoot to, they're giving her the third degree. All the police officers are giving, and I was cracking up, Dave.
Yes.
And not cracking up, but I'm like going, this poor woman, Joanna. They're like questioning her like she's an idiot. They're like, are you sure it was him? Are you sure it was his voice? Are you sure you weren't mistaken? I'm like going, when are they going to ask relevant questions? But see, we leave that to Columbo, right? Because he's
true. But I also think they're trying to break her early on because the wife usually is the one that's going to be the suspect.
Okay. I mean, I guess, but I never really seen an interrogation like that in any of these shows.
Yeah, I agree.
They were giving her the third degree, and I'm like, oh, that poor woman, until she goes out in the hallway and gets a drink, and here comes Columbo. But go ahead.
Right. And it's also interesting because we're already 20 minutes into the show, and we haven't seen Columbo yet.
Right. That's another thing. I'm like 20 minutes in. Where's Columbo?
Yeah.
But when he comes in, he hits with a. Yeah, I love the way he comes in. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so he's got his trench coat on. He's telling her that, the water features never work. The water fountains never work in these high-rise buildings. And he talks about how the buttons on the elevator just work from the heat of your hand. You don't have to touch them. And he goes, how about I make you an omelet? And, I was like, that is really, really weird. And he, in a way, kidnaps her, takes her away, and which is great, takes her away from all the horrible things that are happening in this building. Yeah. But it's like, No, just come with me. I'll let them know you're with me.
Well, see. I didn't think that it was creepy or weird. I thought that was ingenious. I thought he went into the office to hear what the detectives were saying. You know, everybody was saying, and he just disregarded it. It was all just BS to him. So he knew she went out there. He knew, and he figured what the best way to do this is to befriend her, get close to her, and yes, I mean he gets her in the car. He's going to take her home, and he's making her omelets.
Now, I wanted to ask you how you felt about the 1970s set with the wallpaper, with the curtains, with the old fixtures like the oven and the stove and everything. Did you love it? Did you hate it?
Well, I'll tell you this. I do, for nostalgic reasons, I do love the look. Yeah, if there were days you could just plop yourself into a 70s house, that would be awesome. So
Yeah.
yes, I do like it, but is it my preference for how I want to decorate things and live even now, right now? No, probably not. But it is nostalgic. It's cool. Like I always say, looking at different decades in some of these shows, the older you get, you know, it's just I love it. It gives you kind of a cozy, warm feeling, you know, that, yeah, I liked it. I liked it. And
Yeah.
we know the 70s, it was very, I mean, come on, corduroy, the shag carpeting, green
I'll tell you,
yeah.
in the very next episode, someone loses their contact lens in shag carpeting.
No way.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Okay.
And Harry Scott had mentioned
Hey, Freddie Miranda.
it was his own trench coat. It was not from the prop department. That is true.
Okay.
And George Daly says, I love the streams.
Thank you, George. Yeah, and Freddie, it's been a while. Oh, and we got, let's see, one more thing. What do you think about Lily's dress? Oh, wait, when she's sitting at the table at dinner with Ken, and they get a shot from above, and it's shooting down where they're drinking wine and stuff like that, and her dress is slit all the way up to the hip. Did you notice that, Dave?
I did. Legs all the way to the ground.
Okay, yeah, no, that yes, exactly. I thought it was great. But anyway, if that's what you're talking about, but listen, he gets her there, he's making omelets, Dave. I just love the fact that during this whole process, the minute Columbo shows his face, he's hanging around. He's just hanging around.
Oh, yeah.
Observing, listening, getting bits of information. I love it. You know what I mean? It's just so great. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I don't know if you want to throw anything else in there. Hello, Frankie.
Not quite yet, but this is where Ken Franklin shows up. He's driven back from his cabin, and they don't know, but his partner is in the trunk of his car, and the
wait, what's going on? Why did he put the shells in a bowl? Do you know what that means, Dave?
When he cracked the eggs open to make an omelet, he put the shells in a glass bowl, but not with the eggs.
Yeah, well, he says, I'm not a very good cook,
right?
But I can make a mean omelet. So, you know, that's the whole. So, hello, Mandy. Good to see you.
One thing I will point out for those of you who have watched this episode again and again and again, as Ken Franklin and the wife and Columbo are all talking in kind of the entryway, you won't watch it at first, but when you watch this episode again, you'll see all the smoke coming out of the kitchen because he's burning the omelet.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Oh, totally. It's like a 3-alarm fire in there.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, the glove cleaner. What's going on? Can't remember. Yes, we've talked about Jack Cassidy in there. He plays Ken Ferris in this. I love that scene where Ken comes to the door and Joanna opens it, and right around the corner that's why I wrote down Columbo is there. He's just hanging around.
He is.
He's waiting for stuff to happen, but I love that.
But this is where I also didn't like Ken very much, because he just comes in, he goes, "Can I have a drink?"
Oh yeah, listen, he was giving his so many giveaways. I mean, the way he was acting, if he really was trying to play the part for the perfect murder, and when we get to the very end too, I have a problem with that. It's just the whole. I'll wait and talk about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, so keep going. So they come out, they're in the apartment, and they're just talking. Columbo starts questioning him, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have a couple really good angles where they're just like talking, just like face to face. One's in shadow, one's in light. And then they bring up the list that, it's folded, as you had mentioned previously. And this is where I think this is where he'll give him all the extra books and everything as well.
Yes. He gives. They're back at the office, and
Yeah, they do go back to the office.
yeah, and Columbo's again. He's going to be everywhere Ken is. He's following like a shadow, and I think what Ken starts to do is just again starts to keep him busy. He gives him all the books. He says, "Here, read all these." You know what I mean? Which I guess Columbo reads at least the first or second book because he kind of knows what's going on. So,
Right.
but I can't see him reading all those books in a short period of time.
Well,
Maybe.
even though in the closing scene, I mean, when Ken Franklin comes in, he's reading the Columbo book. He's all, "I'm just about done with this last book you gave me."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, some people can read good. Who's this? Seattle Judy. Let's welcome Seattle Judy, everybody. Hello, all. Columbo is always fun to watch. He is always caught touching stuff in their homes when he is snooping around. Love it. Yes. I love that too, especially this one. I can't wait to see some more of the episodes. But let's see. Yeah, Ken is keeping Columbo busy. Ken calls Columbo, says, "Oh yeah." Then now am I missing something? But I think we're back to where Ken brings the body
Yes.
to his house
Right.
of residence and throws it in the front yard. This guy's smart.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And it's is it 937 Skyview Lane, which unfortunately doesn't exist anymore. And this is also, if you remember the Night Stalker episode of The Vampire, this is the same house where the people were considering buying it. And this is where they were going to go to Basil Rathbone's house next and all of that. But this is the same home, this same set.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that until you just said it now. But yes, I do remember when the realtor was showing them around and Kolchak came barging in. Same. Okay.
This will also be a home in a later Columbo episode called Double Negative with Robert Culp.
Well, Mandy, the thing about being too young to remember the 70s, some of my favorite decades of anything are 20s and 30s. Am I too young or old to remember? You're never too old or young to remember any decade, right, Dave? I mean, if you're a historian and you do your research and you watch enough movies from the decades, listen to enough stuff from that era, you're never too young or too old for anything, right? I mean, that's just plain and simple, right, Dave?
Very true.
But good question, Mandy.
Yeah.
So he throws the body in the front yard. He calls the cops.
Yeah, but before he calls,
okay,
he grabs his mail.
Yeah.
And that's another thing of one of his undoing, where he calls the cop. He's just like, going through his mail, going through his bills and everything. He's all, Columbo, you might want to come over here. And Columbo will call him on that once he gets to the visit, because he goes, "Oh yeah, bills are distracting. I can see why you open them," which is kind of, his way of going, "Look, dude, I'm already on to you."
Oh, right. Well, and that's the point. And thank you, Mandy. Dino, respect you. Thank you. Yes. Yes, he's like, if you're on the phone, your friend died. What do you open up? Yeah, I would just be not. And he goes, well, I'm just in hysterics. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm used to open up mail, so that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, that's the point where you start seeing the facial expressions on Ken Ferris, where he's just like, Columbo, leave me alone, leave me alone. You're spoiling everything. But yes, it's he's starting to catch on. So yeah. And that's also where he says it's he starts to sit down after that, doesn't he? And they start getting into a good conversation, and he keeps saying this is a professional job. Because he said that too at the office, because that was before, right? He did go to the office with Columbo and pull out that letter.
Right, because Jim is writing about mobsters and the syndicate and all that. And so they think this is a professional kidnapping / now killing. And he's trying to divert suspicion onto one of the mobsters rather than himself.
Yeah.
But this is also one of the very few times we see Columbo drink alcohol, because he does drink a bourbon.
Yeah, I'll have a bourbon. Yeah. Yeah, he does. He's full on taking it down. I mean, it's just one bourbon. I mean, come on.
It is. But it's so funny in all these episodes. Everyone has a bar in their apartment, in their office, in their living room. I guess alcoholism was just like crazy in the 70s, just like smoking.
Yeah.
So,
it was a big deal for everybody to have a bar set up. That was a 70s thing. I mean, I think a normal piece of furniture in a lot of people's houses was just a bar. You know what I mean? Where you would keep the stuff underneath for parties and all that. Anyways, this is all, again, this is the point where Ken knows that Columbo's catching on to him, and he's trying to get him and stuff, because he also inquires about the insurance. He goes, well, I guess you would have each other covered as partners. You would have some kind of insurance policy. You wouldn't be totally out of things. And and that's where Ken kind of gets the face, and he's like, oh, you son of a. But yeah.
And hello to Freddie Miranda. And yes, glove cleaner smoking was required.
And smoking was required in the 70s. Yes, they did smoke a lot in the 70s. Yes, they did.
So the Columbo does do some research on the insurance, and he takes the insurance person out to Tale of the Pup in Hollywood and inquires, gives him a hot dog. That's his way of bribing, which probably only cost 10 cents. And starts to inquire about the insurance policy.
Yes. And I love how he says, I can't let you guys, I can't really, tell you what. And he goes, well, I can get an affidavit or whatever. No, not affidavit. What am I trying to say?
Search warrant or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. He goes, oh, okay. Yeah, no. So he knows that there's insurance policy and stuff. But I love that. What's coming up next is the whole Lily Lasanka. Next thing you see is Ken Ferris.
We're at the theater.
At the theater with Gloria Jr. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So first of all,
looks excited, everybody. Go ahead.
Ken Franklin's girlfriend is gorgeous beyond words. But what's exciting also is when they're with all the patrons, like walking down the stairs, he is surrounded by old-time actors. And this is what I absolutely love about Columbo, Murder, She Wrote, Ellery Queen, all the series that were produced by Williamson and Link, I think, are the originators of this show.
Okay.
Is they hire all these old actors that are basically like in retirement homes. But you start to look at all these people who are uncredited, but they've done, like, in their heyday, like 300 films in the 1940s. They were in all these Westerns. They were,
So they were in the theater, like, as extras?
They were extras walking down the steps.
I have to relook at that scene
Oh
then.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's at least half a dozen of them
Wow.
in the theater scene. And again, this is why I really appreciate these people bringing back these old time classic actors.
Wait a second. Oh, sweet. Oh no, without a doubt, Dave. That is so awesome, man. I grew up with a bar that just so happens to be a 50-gallon fish tanks, the Sweet Indigo. That is awesome. So they can drink and watch the fish tank. Yeah, no,
That
whatever.
is cool. And then on Ed Stathis, he talks about Robert Culp. Which one? He was in 3 episodes as well. So
Yeah.
I know he gets angry in at least a couple of them. Patrick McGowan is another wonderful
Yes.
foe to Columbo, and I'm sure we'll take a look at one of those episodes as well.
Yeah, I think people are enjoying us talking about Columbo. I think it's something different, something we haven't done on the show before, and there's a lot of Columbo fans. So,
Well, how many thumbs up do we have? How much do they
well,
really
let's see how many thumbs up. That'll tell the true. 76 thumbs up. Let's get to
That ain't
100, you guys.
bad?
Woo! Let's get to 100. But yeah, okay. So listen, we got a half hour. Let's get to
Well,
Lily Lasanka. Are we there yet?
Mr. Franklin
Oh yeah, at the theater. So
at this theater screams out
yeah,
to get his attention, and the Ken Franklin states like, "And who is that?" And he's all, "Someone that should be somewhere else."
yes. Oh my God, that was a funny scene. But he had to go over and say hi, and
Yeah.
it was at that point that she wants to be with. She's like, when am I going to be with you? And she wants to jump his bones. What did I put here?
Totally.
She's,
Totally.
yeah, I put she wants him! Exclamation point. She wants him, man. So she's basically at the theater. She's going to blackmail him because she says she saw the murder. I mean, and she's basically saying, "Go ahead."
She saw them together prior to his murder.
Yeah,
So
and she went.
all, I'm gonna tell you one of my stories
Yeah.
where there's a witness, and he's
Right.
all like, "Okay, let me get rid of my date, and we'll get together." Sorry, cat just went underneath, scared the heck out of me.
Oh, Jesus.
But
Great show, Freddie, The Prisoner. Oh,
I've only seen episode 1.
You're a Wild Wild West fan. You're gonna love The Prisoner. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Anyway.
And so they end up having dinner together at a very fancy restaurant, and this is where that red dress is in, and he's all, "Can I call you Lily?" And she's like, "Oh, please do." Oh, and yeah, Donald Pleasance was that's another fantastic episode.
Wow, that's funny. Yeah. Okay. So the other thing is when they're at the theater and she's talking about the blackmail and all that, and talking about there's Bo.
Everyone, Bo.
Yeah. She asks him for $15,000, and I put next to it LOL.
Yeah, because
15,000. Go ahead.
and when she asks for that, she like spills her water because she's so nervous about asking for that amount of money.
Yeah.
And also, did you see the bowl of ice with the strawberries on top that they were eating out of?
Yes. I did see that.
It just cracked me up. It's like, I expect shrimp to be iced. I don't expect strawberries to be iced. But
yeah. Well, and she's dipping it into. It's a fancy restaurant. They kept the fruit chilled so you can dip it into the champagne at the time. But anyways, yeah. So they do go to dinner and all that, and that's where it's the 15,000. She's basically saying, and then he's sweet talking her. He's like, "Oh, Lily, I didn't know you looked so beautiful outside of the store," and all that, So she's kind of falling for it a bit, but she's also, as we find out later when they're having dinner at the house, her place, her store.
Yeah.
That she's being careful. She's like, because am I jumping ahead?
No, it's a fine, but she's also at this time really professing that she wants Ken.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm really interested in you and I don't want to get you in trouble, hey, I know this about you. Let's make this our like hookup type of thing.
And he had it easy, honestly. If he just gave her the $15 and did what he needed to do, he wouldn't have been caught. Maybe, I don't know, but
Who knows?
yeah.
Well, he was going to give her the money. In fact, she gets to thumb through it. She had never seen that much money before.
Yeah, and this dude had millions. Anyways, he even said when they were having dinner. Well, let's get into that. He ends up saying, they end up hooking up again at her place where she's going to make dinner and he's going to bring the $15,000. And there's 2 bottles of wine. Oh, we're missing something. Go ahead.
Before that, we're back in Ken's house. Ken's having an interview by another beautiful woman who he's also hitting on during the interview, just saying that, I just wanted to, your newspaper was very nice to us at the beginning. I wanted to do this interview for you, but also there's another reason is that the interviewer is so beautiful, and so he's picking up on her and he's all, maybe we can talk about this later. And what cracked me up as well is when he closes the door after the interview person goes out, the camera person is still inside and he has to reopen the door for him.
He goes, "Oh, Harry, sorry." Yeah.
Sorry about that.
And I did make a mistake because I said that Gloria Jr., his date. No, she was uncredited at the theater who he was with.
Okay.
Gloria Jr. is the woman that's interviewing him.
Yes.
And what got me about her was, to me, it looked like she was wearing a pimp hat.
Okay.
Did you notice the hat? It looked like a pimp hat.
It was a different hat. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
But again, 1970s.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so it just, my mind just went to pimp hat. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah. And she was falling for his kind of his like flirting, which got me. I'm like going, man, does anybody else see that this guy's like, 70 years old and just, not what he seems to be? But anyways, I don't know. So where are we at? I put telephone records, call from the house. Oh, this is where he comes to Columbo comes to Ken and says that he's got the phone records, which states that there was a call that came from the house. And that's where Ken says, well, listen, that was Jim calling his wife. Maybe you should go talk to Joanna. And, so he's got him there. But again, mean face. Columbo's getting to me here. Yeah, pimp hat, Ian. I'm telling you, man, you got to rewatch it and look at it. It looked like a pimp hat, but always follow the money. 15,000 in 1971 was 111,000 in 2023. Is that real?
That sounds about right.
Oh my God! To even think of that in those. So she did ask for a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Frankly, thanks for that. But, I just realized Frankly and his Frankenstein avatar, thus the name Frankly. Oh, I just noticed. Okay, anyways, here, let's see. Mandy, listen, you guys, you see a price for a house back then and you think you could afford it. Wrong. You could not. You make 150 a week. Yes, exactly, Mandy. Yes, the times were different. Money was different. Everything kind of, yeah. The hat looked like Burger King cashier hat in the 70s. Okay. Anyways, where are we at, Dave?
We're just about to leave the house, and Ken Franklin is trying to get away from Columbo because Columbo is sticking to him like glue now. Columbo's obviously on the scent, and Ken drives back down to San Diego to have dinner with Mrs. Lysenko.
Yes, he had the 2 bottles of wines, and that's where Columbo asked him about that too. Oh, where are you going? You're just going by yourself? Why you got 2 bottles of wine? He goes, well, I can easily down 2 bottles of wine. It's not a problem on a weekend. So, but he is having dinner with Lily Lysenko, and this is where she's in the dress. And I mean, it's a long dress all the way to the floor, but it's got the slit all the way up to the hip. And if you sit the right way, yama yama. And that's what happens at the dinner table. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, she was going to close the store early that night. I'll tell you that.
Oh, listen, she wanted she wanted Ken's clothes off right away. Sorry, Dave.
And did you see the suit that Ken was wearing with it was all checkered, totally 1970s, big collar and the ascot in front. Oh my gosh.
Listen, when I was a teen, Dave, like right when I hit 18, and I had a job at a video store, and
I thought you were at Ponderosa Steakhouse.
Well, around the let's see, I had quite a few jobs when I was a teen, right out of high school. I mean, that's just the way it goes, right, for everybody, right? But yes, first job was Burger King, Ponderosa Steakhouse. But in between there, I worked for a little bit at Cosmic Video, where they had the VHS tapes and all that good stuff. But the point I was trying to make was that there was a store at the mall. I fell in love with these 70s looking clothes. But they looked good because they were made during that, they were updated, but they had the big collars and it was like brown and it was like silky and the sleeves it was total 70s. I wore it while I was working and stuff and everybody came in and said, that's a pretty cool shirt. But there was a kick I was on during my teens where I was wearing like 70s clothes. It was just, I don't know. I thought I'd throw that story out there. Dave Plouffe, he is thrilled to finally talk about Columbo. I didn't even say his moniker there, but now we did, and now we can move on. So we are at the dinner, and
she is a little pretty much slurring her words. Yeah. And they're opening another bottle of champagne, and they're, he's giving her comments about what great food she makes, and she's all, I learned everything from my husband who had died, and like he was in the Navy as a cook or something like that. And then they kiss. And it is the worst Hollywood kiss you have ever seen in your life.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. No, it was him just going through the roles. Yes, Mandy, Ponderosa Steakhouse. I was a cook there. Man, I had an old man that would come in and he only wanted me to cook it because I made it perfect for him. And I even cut up the steak because he was an older man. It was, you kind of fell in love with your customers too. They were like, you could always see it. You knew he was going to be there at dinner time every day, but it was fun. I really enjoyed that job. Peter Wiernicki, what is going on?
Hi, Peter.
So yeah, he
but then
worst kiss ever. And
then he suggests that they go out to the middle of the lake on the boat. How romantic would that be? We'll bring some champagne. We'll have a good time. I'll kill you. It'll be great.
I love that she picked up on it immediately and said, listen.
She did. She wasn't too drunk to realize this was a bad move.
Yes. I'm not going to, she even said, I'm not going to, I'm not going to roll out on the lake, with everything that's been going on. And with there being a chance that you may just kill me and throw me overboard. So she does say it, but that's when he gets the idea, listen, okay, I got to get rid of her, where he could have, listen, I understand it. She's on him nonstop and she just wants it. She's not going to leave him alone.
Right.
Even after $15,000, she puts it in the bank. Yeah. And that's another thing. She wanted to hold on to it for a day. So that comes to bite him in the butt later, Ken, too, because Columbo finds out he took $15,000 out of the bank. He's telling Joanna to try to convince her that, listen, Ken's killed your husband. And he said he took $15,000 and 1 or 2 days later, he puts it right back in. For what? Who does that? And she goes, well, why would he do that? He goes, well, I think he was being blackmailed by Lily Lasanka. So he put all that together,
Yeah, but she's not dead yet.
No, not dead yet.
So this is one of the best murder scenes, I think, in Columbo, because again, Ken's preparing, right? We get to see him put the gloves on
slowly.
Yeah. Him, but this time, he wraps the champagne
bottle.
in like a dish rag or something like that, and sneaks up behind her. And as she turns around, she gives like that, and she's dead.
You first of all, you hear no scream.
No scream.
So it makes the scene a little unique, like, and okay, no scream. But also when he's doing the bottle and he's wrapping it up with like a dish towel, because it covers, because like if he would have hit her over the head with just the glass, it would have shattered and it might have killed her. I mean, even wrapping it up in the dish towel, it completely covers it, making it more of a solid weapon. It distributes the blow a little bit better, and it doesn't shatter it, because especially if you hit it on the base of the bottle. Wait, am I giving away secrets?
You're scaring me a little
bit. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm sorry. Secrets? No, what? Anyways, I read this somewhere, so this has got to be true. But yes, it distributes the weight, and you'll notice when he does take her on the boat that they're both solid bottles, so it didn't shatter. But yes, that will help the blow.
All right. So they row out onto Crystal Lake, and he dumps her body into the water, and then he fills the champagne bottles up with water so they sink. Then he is hardly wearing any clothes himself when he goes out there.
Thank you.
And he jumps and turns the boat over, capsizes it, and he swims to shore.
Yes.
Cutscene.
And first of all, Peter, thank you, Dino, Dave Plevey, Dino, Classic Team Up. I appreciate it. Listen, I love doing these Sunday nights with Dave. I really do. And by the way, Kolchak isn't going to be Sunday next week. It's going to be Monday, because I've got family stuff going on, and I thought I could pull it off, but I can't. So we're going to be here live Christmas Day, 8 p.m. So after all the festivities, after you're done eating, open up the pants, do whatever you got to do. Well, I mean, you're full.
Not you or I, because we're on live.
Not us.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't tell.
I don't even want to think about
going on, but yeah, sit back, Christmas Day, chill with us, and we'll talk about the next episode of Kolchak and have some fun.
Yeah. And so for the next 2 weeks, we'll be on Monday.
Yes. We will New Year's Day. So that'll be a Monday too, because New Year's Eve stuff's going on. So that'll be the prediction show. It's not listed yet, but check. But yes, thank you guys very much. Just Sleep and Crickets. What's going on? This is going really well tonight.
That is a quote from the Columbo episode.
Oh, okay. James Andre. Okay, so where are we at? I like how he shows up the next morning where all the police are there and they're getting the boat. And I guess the lake must not be that deep because they get the body pretty quickly and all that stuff. I don't know how. Maybe because the boat was floating out in the middle and somebody called and said, oh my God, somebody probably drowning out there. So, they find the wine bottles and her body, and he's out there, Again, this is where he's dressed up in his little jacket and
fisherman's outfit.
Yeah, and he's got blue jeans on, and they're high waters, and his white socks with the red and green little, you know what I'm talking about.
You really paid attention to that outfit.
In the white tennis, because it was so I'm just looking at him going, oh, that disgusts me. I don't know. There's just certain looks that you just look at and you go, oh my God. And then the story behind him in here, he's a woman, eyes are and all that stuff.
Yeah, but anyway, he's wearing that captain's hat too, which is really great.
Well, I think that might have been what got it. Yeah, the captain's hat. You need that to go out on a boat on the lake. Yeah. There's a certain way you got to dress, but
yeah. So as he's walking through and he hears that this woman has died, he goes back to his cabin, and who's at his cabin? Columbo.
Yep.
And Columbo talks about hey, I've got some time off and everything. I'm thinking about renting a place. Maybe I can rent a place. We could be neighbors. And Kim Franklin's all, you can't even afford this area.
Yeah.
What a jerk. Screw you, Columbo.
What a jerk. They bought him at a jerk store. That's a
Totally.
Seinfeld reference.
Then then he talks about Lysanka, and he's all, "Did you know her?" "No, I didn't know her." And
Oh, he blew it here, Dave.
yep,
Oh,
he did. Big gaping hole in the story.
yep. Oh, I thought you were
He goes,
continuing.
"I see the box right in there that you buy stuff there." He goes, "Well, I know her without really knowing her. You know people without knowing them."
Yeah, the store owner, the gas station attendant, the waitress, kind of like that. Trying to cover. And I love, as the show progressed, how he would try to, backtrack and cover himself. And while he's doing that, he's still holding on to hope that, listen, even if you do think I did it and know I did it, you still need circumstantial evidence to prove it. Which was hard for Kolchak to do until little bits at the end, and then we'll talk about that real quick soon here. But yeah, no, Columbo shows up at Lake Cabin. He interrogates him, a little bit more, finds he does go back as he's leaving, and he stops at Lily Lasanka's store because there's cops there investigating her store. And
there's right when he's leaving too, I want to say this is another really big gotcha moment. Is he says, "Oh," he goes, "how's the nightlife here?" And he goes, "Nothing." And as James Landry said, "We don't have anything here, just sleep and crickets." And he goes, Columbo goes, "Well, that's weird." He goes, "I didn't want to surprise you today. I called last night and you weren't home."
Yeah. So
when he said that he was home, but we know he was out killing Lily Lysanka. So he goes to Lysanka's grocery store and shows his ID, gets into the place, steals some gummy worms from the counter because she's dead. Might as well take some of the food. And then he finds that her home is connected to the back of the general store.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
it is cool. It is
little store up front and your home in the back. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's of days gone by. That's like stuff from the 30s, the 20s, 30s, 40s. Like a lot of people did that. You know what I mean? They would have their little local store, drugstore, or whatever it was, and then they lived in the back or above or something like it. I loved it. But anyways, yeah. So that's that. He does go to the back of her house where they had dinner and stuff like that. And it's funny how he's looking for clues, and he happens to kick out the topper, not the cork. It's not a cork, it's a plastic one, cheap champagne. And he kicks it out. You need a real cork for real wine or champagne. Anyways, he kicks it out and he puts that in his pocket. So he knows, hey, wait a second, the wine, something happened here. That's when he goes out there and he does see the book on the shelf, and it's initialed by Ken Burns. So
it's with love. Ken.
Yeah. So everything's adding up that, listen, Ken. And then that's when he goes to his wife, I think, Jim's, Joanna, right?
Yes, Joanna Ferris.
Okay. Yeah, we got to wind this
up. I can't remember her name.
Joanna Ferris was played by Rosemary Forsyth.
Thank you. Do you know the horror movie she was in?
Oh gosh, the horror movie she was in was, oh my god. No, go ahead.
Whatever Happened to Aunt Alice?
Whatever Happened to Aunt Alice? Okay. Huh. You know what, Dave? I've never seen that movie.
You've never seen it? Oh,
I've never seen Whatever Happened to Aunt Alice. No.
You've got to see it. It's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So gummies have a different meaning now. Yes, they do. Spooky bed hair. What is going on? It's been a while since I've seen you too. Dino sounds like John Candy. Ed Stathis says. Interesting. Okay. Well, never been called John Candy, but okay. So all of that happened. He goes and tries to convince Joanna that Ken's murdered your husband.
Oh, yeah.
And he finds out that Ken or Jim writes everything on like little piece of paper, like matchbooks, wherever he can write, inspirations and stuff like that. So he goes, well, okay, if I'm going to convince you, or if I can get the circumstantial evidence, I'm going to need to hear the story of Jim and Ken.
Yeah.
So Joanna starts to go on and on and on and tell the story of the two, and you continue, and then we'll end it.
Well, it's
How
also
about that, Dave?
fine.
No,
So
I'm just letting you get that word in edgewise. I'm just going off a mile a minute here.
oh no, this is really, and it bothers me a little bit in this scene that she's so Ken didn't do it. Ken didn't do it.
Yeah.
And Columbo's like, look, if you think that Ken did do it, everything falls into place. And this is one of the cool scenes where he kind of like, she's all, you know what? I'm going to make some coffee. Do you want some? And he's all, yeah, I do. And he sits in this very kind of like a lazy boy chair.
Yeah.
And he lights up his cigar, and he puts his feet up on the counter or the end table.
Yeah.
And you hear her voiceover saying that, they met in a typewriter store. One person needed a ribbon. One person broke a key on the typewriter. And it kind of goes into this like almost dream sequence type of thing. And
I love that scene. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is a wonderful scene. And you get a scene of Columbo from over his shoulder looking into the room. So we almost have the same point of view.
That was another. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was another really cool thing about this. The cinematography, the way they did shoots for a TV series was just really, really good. Like that scene, shots from above, while they're eating dinner, and other, especially when Ken was, from the behind. There were really good shots. And when Columbo was sitting there, the dreamlike sequence, like you said, exactly. And Ian, need more 10 thumbs up. I'm keeping that up there so everybody knows. Please hit the thumbs up. Let's end the stream with 100.
I'd love to see 100 for Columbo.
Yeah. Panderjit Singe, what's going on? Last John Candy movie I saw was The Silent Party. Okay, continue, Dave. Sorry, I interrupted you.
So we get a fade, and then we've got Columbo, or not Columbo, but I'm sorry, Ken Franklin, driving down the street to go into the office because he's packing up everything to move it out. He sees the movers out in front, and he's all, hey, you guys almost done? And he's all, we haven't even started. And he's all, why not? He goes, don't look at me, go inside. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no. Yeah. I just noticed in the chat, Ian, thank you. You gifted 5 Late Horror Show memberships. Thank you so much, Ian. That is awesome. To Boo, to Queen on Tour. William Cromer got one. Scooter Dog, Felton Hall. Only name I recognize there is Boo and William Cromer. But thank you, Ian. I really appreciate that, my friend. That, believe it or not, that goes to support the channel too in every way. It really does. 91 thumbs up. We need 9 more. Let's do it, you guys. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, please do it.
And I did want to talk about Kathy Roberts also said the Lovely but Lethal episode with Vincent Price. Not only is Vincent Price in there, Martin Sheen is in there, and also Vera Miles from Psycho fame is the murderess.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. No. Listen. I can't wait to start watching some of these.
Wow.
If we start doing this, Dave, you got to let me know. If I should just wait and I don't know if it's start going through the series or if we do special episodes.
All right.
But you let me know.
Yeah, we'll talk about it afterwards. I'd love to hit maybe one every season and see how that goes.
Okay.
Where you can kind of see him maturing and changing, and
there's
just the guest stars.
5 more thumbs up. Guest stars. I see
amazing because there's one with Leonard Nimoy, which is one of my favorites.
Oh, no way.
There's
see, I'm gonna love this. There's so many good.
William Shatner. There's, of course, you already mentioned Patrick McGowan. They were close friends, and I got a chance to talk to Shirley Jones about 10 years ago, and I asked her about Jack Cassidy.
Yeah,
and I go, he was on 3 episodes. I go, you don't get that type of coverage. I go, how did he get that part? And she goes, oh, we were family friends. So imagine Columbo, Peter Falk, and his wife.
Mhm.
I think he was married to Alice at this time. He wasn't married to his second wife yet.
Yeah.
And then Shirley Jones and Jack Cassidy all having dinner together. I think that is, such a wonderful, cool type of situation.
Oh yeah, no, awesome. How about the 1968 pilot? Says Jacko. Hello, Night Fright Talk Show. Yeah, let's wind this up. We got 5 more thumbs up. We need.
In 5 more minutes.
No, 97, 98. We need 3 more.
Come on.
3 more thumbs up. Well, listen, we've got to talk about the ending. Okay, so Columbo goes to ends this up going to the next scene is at the office, and Ken Ferris is moving everything out. And I like how he tells the truck driver, "What's going on? Why isn't everything moved out?" Well, there's 2 people up there. They haven't come down in half an hour. So Columbo's up there. Ken goes up there, and Columbo says, basically, I wish I should have practiced his voice before this, but he says, "You're under arrest. You're under arrest, Ken." And he starts telling him all the reasons why and everything else. I don't know if you want to go into detail and talk about some of this real quick, or if there's anything else, because there is something I'm going to bring up at the end.
All right. So first thing, when he's walking down the aisle into the office, there's a policeman there. And that's when Ken thinks, oh shit, this is the end. And Columbo starts, reading the Miranda rights, and Ken waves him off. He goes, "I've written that so much." He goes, "Really? I don't think you've written anything." And he just, starts to tell him everything. He goes, "Look, I got the book, I got the corks, I got all this stuff." And Ken's all circumstantial evidence. You're not going to get me.
And this is where it gets me. And we're 98, 2 more for 100. This is what gets me. Okay, so what happens is Columbo knows that Ken's never written anything, or never written anything, right? He didn't even write the second book, but he had an idea, the first good idea for a murder mystery, and Jim wrote it down, and evidently Columbo found that at the house.
Well, he found it in the office, which is why he wouldn't let movers in to move all the stuff. He had to move around.
Okay, so so finds it at the office, and that's kind of what brings the whole thing around. And he says, basically, he says, this is word by word, scene by scene. This is you recreating the murder for Jim, and basically Ken breaks down and says that is the best thing, and the one and only thing I wrote correctly, or whatever he said, right? Is that something like that?
Yeah.
But basically, again, this is what got me at the very end. He confesses. He doesn't put up a fight. He doesn't say, "Listen, that's still circumstantial evidence. So what do you mean? Now, how can you say that?" It's like the old movies, Dave. And that's what I liked about it. But I still said, well, why did he confess?
Yeah.
But yes, Columbo got him.
And
I think that was
he humiliates him first with saying, "Hey, the first murder had to be from Jim," because he goes, "It's so perfect." He goes, "You did the second murder because that was sloppy," and that is up.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit you. This is like a telethon. We need 1 more. We need 1 more for a tote bag. So come on. I think it's a regional thing, though, Dino, Ed Stathis. I'm not sure what you mean. Doesn't that explain the typewriter error? Yes. I love Peter Falk and Undisputed was other. But yeah, no. Then he, like in the 30s, where Charlie Chan would go up to the guy and go, this is, and then the guy would go, "Okay, everybody, back up. You've got me, but I'm going to, and really, he could have put a fight up in the court. I mean, and he may have gotten off, but he confessed. So, but you know what? Yeah, I mean,
but had been going for a while there.
Oh yeah. I mean,
that was his great quote, and Columbo's
Lisa,
like, "You know what? You're right, you did."
Yeah, Lisa's here. Lisa, where you been? Listen, I know I haven't done Burbs in a while, but Ian, Lisa, It's good to see you in the chat, and thank you again, Ian, for the gifted memberships. Let's see. Have we made 100? Have we? One more, and one more thumbs up, and we get a. But while we're looking for that one thumbs up, Dave, thank you. I'm introduced to a great show now.
I'm so relieved.
Me too. I was
so worried, but I'm so happy that you did like it, because I felt it was right up your alley. Where like, this is totally Dino is going to love this.
Thank you guys. We've reached 100 thumbs up. Oh wait, no, now it's back down to 98.
No,
I'm seeing 98. Okay, well, we're winding it up. Oh no, did a couple people take it away?
They probably didn't like the ending either.
Oh gosh. But anyways, yeah, I think before we end here in a couple minutes, we should be at 100. It's amazing watching older movies and TV in high definition completely changes them. Lots of movies I first saw on scratch film. Oh yeah, without a doubt. But something in that ginger ale tonight, Dino? No, why? What? I'm excited. Listen, when you have something great to talk about and discuss, it makes for a nice night and conversation, right? Back to 100. UFOs, no joke. Okay, let's refresh. 100 thumbs up, Dave. We have made it. We have made it. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it. That is awesome. But yes, I love this. I'm showing 101. Thanks, each and every one of you guys, for making Sundays with me and Dave so fun. I think we just take and pick great topics to talk about, and it makes for an easy night, right? An easy conversation. And now we got Columbo in the mix now too. I mean, man, we got to do a Columbo. We have to throw that in the mix.
All right.
You tell me what episode. I'll watch it and we'll talk about it. I mean, it was amazing. It was great. It's funny how people you don't. Okay, there comes a point where there's the younger crowd, and some people just don't go back and watch the older stuff. But there's some of the people who were around for the older stuff and didn't watch it. And then there are some people who love the era, like me, and I go and watch something like this, and I'm like going, man, what a joy. And I've missed this all these years. It's fantastic. But anyways, with that said, UFOs is no joke. This channel just keeps on hitting. Well, thank you very much, man.
It's very nice.
Yeah, that's amazing that you would even say that. Two guys talking, having fun.
That's it.
Yeah, that's that's what makes it, right? Rockford Files is great detective show. Now listen, Tau Flaudermouse. I have a problem with Fred McMurray. I don't know. Look at Dave.
Who's Fred? Well, is Fred McMurray in the Rockford Files?
Oh no. See, I'm already getting it messed up.
I think there's something in that ginger ale.
What's his name?
Jim Rockford.
Oh, what's his name? Why'd I say Fred McMurray?
No.
Rockford Files was. Dave's gonna look it up.
I will look it up.
The Rockford. I just
James Garner.
I just okay. I'll shut up. I'm not saying nothing else. I'm gonna get myself.
Take his thumbs up away.
We need to have a Dino stream with a trench coat.
Okay. And the Leslie Nielsen episode is not one of my favorites. I don't like seeing Leslie Nielsen play a serious role.
Same here. He was on Planet. He was in some early sci-fi episodes. The ones where the space, the rockets go. He used to be in some early sci-fis, and I liked them in those. I really did. But that was him trying to be serious. But I'm not saying he's a bad actor, but I think that's why he tends to be better in the comedies.
Oh yeah.
Because even the cheesy sci-fi ones that I've seen him in. Listen, the first thing I ever seen him in was a Charlie Chan episode
Oh,
or
wow.
movie. It was one where they were trying to get the lines all connected, and they were flashing scenes of a bunch of people calling on the phone. You know how they do that, like montage of people going, hey, hello, hello, hello. And there was one where for 4 seconds, you see Leslie Nielsen in an early Charlie Chan film going, hello, 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 hello. And you just see him, it was so trippy. So
Well,
trippy.
the same thing with me when I watched the end of Psycho and Ted Knight opens the door at the very end. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
holy moly.
Yeah. You know, I could keep going tonight, you guys, but it's 9:36. I got to get ready for the overnight stream. So I am going to end this. Much love to each and every one of you guys for joining us tonight. And the 100 thumbs up. Thank you, guys. Make sure you comment also after the stream is over underneath. That would be awesome. And yeah, overnight tonight is Nick Carter, Master Detective. I plucked some really good ones for a surprise stream. So I know Stairpike likes the surprises. He likes what's coming up next? I can't wait, says Stairpike. And I agree with them. Sometimes it's nice to have timestamps so that you can go to your favorite shows. But to have a surprise, like a stream where you don't know what's coming up next, it's nice. I enjoy it. But any last words, Dave?
No. Happy birthday, Ed Stewart.
Yes, Ed Stewart. Happy birthday, even though you weren't here. Happy birthday anyway.